Alright, hello. Today we are looking at the most overhyped arcane of the updates, which is Primary Debilitate. In case you haven't seen the arcane for some reason, everyone has been talking about this and how it's OP and everything. It's this one. If an enemy has 10 stacks of a combined status effect, inflicting the same status effect again has a 100% chance to inflict one of the status effects it is composed of. This is a very nice arcane, and it's essentially a way more controlled secondary encumber, which is really nice, especially because it's for primary weapons. So today I'm gonna show you some examples on how you can use it, some guns on how you can use it, and well, applications and everything, missions, all that good stuff. So let's start with the one that everyone immediately told me about, which is the Glaxion. So before I begin, I have made a ton of videos on the Glaxion for this specific viral riven with primary crux and heat Glaxion or electricity Glaxion or whatever you want to do after. This is still the best build, 100%. I tried all of the Debilitate combinations that are out there, all of them. This is still 100% better. It is, in fact, so much better, especially once you go level 500 upwards, that it completely clears in terms of damage. It's not even close. However, if you don't have a Riven, this right here is an amazing, amazing alternative. And it becomes even better if you have Nourish, because Nourish status effect, the viral status effect, will work directly on this, and once you reach 10 viral, that will also split due to primary Debilitate. So even though Roar is usually the best, and I still think it's the best for this build and for every primary Debilitate build that you might do, you have a good reason to actually use Nourish if you actually want to run primary Debilitate on your guns by modding for Blast Corrosive and then getting viral from that. However, it's not really necessary. So for the Wisp build, I'm going to use the Roar build, and I think it's the best. And for the Kavat, if you want to have viral from somewhere, you can use the Panzer Wupafila. But I'm going to take the crit from this guy because I think it's definitely better. Also, I tried a lot of combinations with more crit, less crits, more status, less status. This was easily the best outcome that I could get using Blast and Corrosive. So definitely that one. I'm gonna go in a small mission, not gonna play the entire survival, just gonna go ahead and showcase its power, because I think, honestly, I still think it's very powerful, and I still think that if we're doing something like base toolpath missions and all that good stuff, this might be better, not because it does more damage than the Cracks immediately, this is less damage than Cracks actually does, but because the AoE is more. And usually on these low-level missions, AoE and killing as many enemies as possible, as quickly as possible, is indeed more valuable. So it's not that bad. But you will see that the AoE does go absolutely wild with this. Yes, I cannot shoot as much because the primary Crux's ammo efficiency is gone. But the damage and the AoE is more than enough. Also, what is this enemy density? There we go. So yeah, obviously everything you touch kind of just turns to nothing with this. It's really, really good. It still has the same issues as the other Glaxion build, where it's bad against Acolytes and yada yada yada. But it's actually like really fucking strong. And you may think that most of the weapons that you want to use Debilitate on are beam weapons, but Debilitate as an arcane is not actually the best one on almost any beam weapons, rather. It's only really good on some specific beam weapons, which is pretty interesting to me. So this is definitely an arcane that if you have a buffer frame, like a Siren, a Sights, someone who can give damage, Lavos is absolutely amazing with this. All those Warframes that buff your primary weapon with an extra guaranteed mixed status effect. For Siren, it's Corrosive and the extra Toxin proc combines with the Corrosive proc from Debilitate. For Lavos, it's whatever you want, and for Sight, it's whatever you want again. And also Gauss if you want to do like the Blast from Thermal Sunder and Thermal Transfer Augment, that's also really good. You know, all that good stuff. Some things to note about Debilitate as an arcane in general is that Blast, because of the way it works, once it reaches at 10 stacks, then it stops and then it goes back down, and then you start stacking it again. You can actually stack heat and cold just fine from it. However, it's not as consistent as the others. So as you can see, if I hit some guy for a long time, I don't know how that will happen considering they die so quickly. Wait. Damn it. But you saw there was a cold proc. That's what I wanted to show. There was a cold proc on him. There was a heat proc on that guy, even though I have no heat motive. There we go. Perfect. Excellent. So as you can see, even though we're doing like 10 blast procs, we still have heat and cold procs regardless. Not as many as the corrosive procs that are gonna give us the toxin and electricity procs, but they're still there and they still play a huge role onto your DPS. So this is really, really good. Anyway, so that's Glaxion. As I said, if you do have a viral Riven, stick to Crux. It is way, way better. It is 100% better. But for base star chart or base steel path missions, level like 200, 300, this goes toe to toe with that. And on low level missions, it actually is better because it does have more AoE. So that's for Glaxion. Our next weapon is gonna be the good old Bubonico. This time though, for the Bubonico, you're not actually using Debilitate on the actual build. You're using Debilitate to prime. As a primer, Bubonico has innate viral, so you get that from there. Then you can go cold to freeze enemies, corrosive and magnetic at the same time. And once you just spam the entire magazine onto a unit, you have so many procs that it becomes ridiculous. Like, you can actually put every single elemental status proc in the entire game onto an enemy directly with the alt fire of this by just spamming it. And I'm gonna showcase this on a small disruption mission so you can see how it is. But it is really, really powerful. In general, this was my first idea for Debilitate. My first idea for Debilitate was to make a primer Bubonico in order to do disruption missions with something like a Tenet Plinks, a Tenet Spirex, or even the Coda Pox. Generally, any secondary weapon you can think of that has multiplicative Gancio absolutely loves this arcane and this interaction. It is so, so good. So, yeah. We're just gonna play through this normally until we get a key. Tenet Plinks, probably still one of the best secondary weapons in the game. This is such an insane secondary. The value it has to absolutely one-tap anyone you want as long as you headshot them is incredible. But yeah, here's the target. Look at these status procs. Look at this. This guy is fucked. That's a damage guy. So, yeah, case in point, that guy is screwed completely. Debilitate as a primary for something like a Bubonico or something like a Cedo even. I tried the Cedo, it wasn't as good. I think the Bubonico is by far the best one for this. It is just so, so good. It puts so many status effects onto the enemy that any secondary just one-shot them. Just absolute one-shot. Easily one-shot. So I could check the log file to show you what the actual damage of the Plinks was, but it's damage capping. Do you really care? I don't think you really care. It's just that good. So, next we have the Strun Prime Incarnon. This is our first shotgun type weapon. Well, technically our second, but the other one was a primer. Bubonico is a primer, so this is actually a damaging build. So I do have the Rivens though, and obviously, you know, if you don't have a Riven, what do I replace it with? I genuinely don't know. For this instance, I mean, cold here. I like the cold here because the Incarnon mode has blast, so I don't think I want to combine it. So I don't know, maybe go for the Vigilante, unironically. I don't know. Fire rate if you want. Fire rate is good. Anyways, figure something out. I don't know. Like, or get a Riven. Rivens are not really that expensive anymore. Unless you're talking about something like the Torrid. Regardless, you can see that we have 897% status chance on this directly. And obviously, if I wanted to make it more crazy, I could do this, and now we have 1200% status chance. This is so overkill that I don't really need to do this. And I know people want to see Marie LaRue because, you know, booning and all that, so you guys get that. But yeah, it is quite strong. Like, you will see, there is just too many status effects on its own. 900% status chance, it is quite strong. The damage is pretty ridiculous. Let's go ahead and showcase it. Uh, yeah, this arcane, honestly, it is good. It's not, in my opinion, as good as primary overcharge because its usability is very limited, but it's good, very good. So it's also an arcane that is a primary encumber essentially. That part of the arcane is absolutely sick. I love that. I love that. Primers in general are some of the most useful things that you can use in this entire game to buff your other weapons. So yeah. Anyway, so if I hit anybody, they obviously explode, but the funny part is that they explode on a million status effects, as you can see. So I can like spam this, obviously, but I don't know how much you will be able to see if I do spam it. Well, if I do this, you know, you can actually see what's happening and what it's doing. So it is pretty good. I want to find one Eximus enemy so we can see like a really cool amount of status effects. But yeah, really weird. And obviously, if you do get the blast rogue, the blast rogues deal a ton of damage. Also, that is my Kavad. Don't worry about it. This Kavad is pretty strong. Yeah, really cool. From my testing, I have seen like 12 million blast rogue, and then obviously you're priming with every status effect in the game onto these enemies from your primary. So yeah, these things happen right now. My Kavad is just going. And yeah, obviously with the amount of fire rate and everything, this does get ridiculous, but look at that. That is stupid. The amount of status effect is disgusting. So yeah, this is obviously on Wisp as well. So if you have something like a Siren or a Side or a Lavos, as we said before, this gets even crazier. But yeah, go ahead, Kavad, just do the thing, kill them all. You got that. You got that, big bro. Anyway, yeah, Strun is good. Strun is good here, for sure. Now, the next category is one that I actually liked a lot because I like these type of weapons a lot and they don't really see much action because they are usually quite underpowered. And these are the LMG type weapons. So we have the Tramna Prime, we have the Supra Vandal, and also we have the Queller. And I'm going to showcase the Queller for this time actually because this is one of the weapons that you can easily build for its alt fire and just go with that and it's good. Also, this is electricity ribbon, so, you know, obviously if you don't have that, electricity mode here. And yeah, the status chance on the Queller, as you can see, is really high. So this is a prime candidate. It also has cold innately. So if you really want, you can remove this vital acceleration mode here to add a bit more damage from this interaction by making blasts with thermite rounds, like this. Which is gas because my Riven is here. If my Riven is like this, there we go. This is better. So yeah, like that. And then you have more status chance too, so this works perfectly. But I like Vital Acceleration. This gun just has too many bullets, so this definitely works for me. Normally, on a gun like this, if you want to go all fire only, you would do primary plated round for the absurd like 700% damage that you get from this. But Debilitate on its primary fire specifically is pretty goated. And I always loved LMG type weapons, so I'm really happy that this actually got a lot more useful. So I'm gonna showcase that for a bit because it's fun, first of all. And as I said, you can do this with every LMG weapon. All three of the LMG weapons that I named, all three of them have very high status chance onto their primary fire or the LMG fire that they have. So they are prime candidates for this. Now, before I get any actual, you know, before anything, this isn't too great. So I'm just gonna Dark Sword these guys. So I can get my buffs and then do something like that. But yeah, until you get one kill, so that Galvanized Aptitude actually works and you get damage, this isn't too great. But once we get the kill, you know, now immediately we can do damage. Hey, you took my gun. That wasn't very nice. Yeah, now we can do damage. And obviously, because this weapon has multi-CO, if you find a really heavy unit, you can just, like, alt-fire them at some point. And it just works. But yeah, it is significantly better than anything else you can do on these type of weapons. And they tend to become quite strong for single target damage. And this one, as I said, you know, it primes for itself and then you alt-fire if you don't run out of ammo. And then you can do stuff. Like that. It's pretty decent. The alt-fire of this weapon is also ridiculously strong. You can reach insane damages from the alt-fire without much investment. So, you know. It is quite synergistic onto the weapon itself. I think Tramna would have yielded the best results here if I wanted to be fancy and everything. But I like Qualler a lot and I wanted to make the LMG version of the Qualler work for a very long time. So this was really, really nice to see that it works this well. And obviously, you know, I could have used something way stronger as a Warframe as well in order to make it look better, or add the blast to get a bit more AoE, but I don't think it's worth it. I think this is way more enjoyable to me. So yeah, that's Qualler and the LMG type weapons. And next, we have possibly the second best out of everything that's tried, because I tried pretty much every weapon I have in my arsenal. There was one that was so much higher than the others, like in power, and I'm leaving that for last. But for now, we have alerted the Boar. We have indeed alerted the Boar. The Boar Incarnon, I tried it with overcharge. It's good. It's really good because I was like, okay, Torrid is good with overcharge. Surely Boar would be good with overcharge too. And it is. It is really, really good. However, this was better. And as you can see, this one doesn't even have a Riven. I can use a Riven for this. I could easily use a Riven for this. I don't want to. Because I really don't need it. I think like this is genuinely better. I could, instead of Primed Ravage, do this. If I like format around, move shit around, for sure. But I genuinely don't need it. It's just so good. No, let's do one of these. They have full... there is no intercept. Dude, I really wanted to see interception. Anyway, mobile defense should work, but interception on these missions would have been crazy good to showcase this stuff, because it's filled with Eximus and there is so much enemy density. Interception on Steelpath is definitely the hardest game mode, and because of the amount of Eximus here on these missions, it is like... damn, it is so fun. But yeah, I forgot about it. And also I didn't have any interceptions at least, so... maybe for the final weapon we will get one. Hopefully we will, but we'll see. Anyway. So the Boar Incarnon, obviously primary fire, you know, good. But you go to Incarnon and you get this. Now, obviously single target is not too crazy until the stacks happen, but... it's more about the AoE here. The AoE is really good. As you can see, it's kind of Torrid levels of AoE at that point. And obviously this is Rivenless. If I do use a Riven, I get more something. Hit damage or crit damage, or a build for crits directly through the Riven, because I could do that. I don't have any crit chance on this weapon right now. This would look even better. But I prefer the status chance to abuse Debilitate a bit more. So I don't mind doing this. But this is really good. Belenus. Dude, normally Belenus is a defense mission. I really hope it's an interception because they spawn randomly. Anyway, yeah. Boar is really cool. It's really, really cool. As you can see, the damage on single targets, even without any buffs, is pretty decent, considering those are Eximus. But the AoE is really where it's at. If there is enemies clamped up to each other and the viral procs hit them, they absolutely disintegrate, which is really great. It's not anything too spectacular, and I think you can definitely get a lot better results with the Boar Incarnon, but I actually quite like that. It's really interesting. Finally, the best by far. Holy glow up Phantasma. This thing with Debilitate is so ridiculous. It's so insane. So we got a heat riven. I went viral heat. It has innately radiation, so we get every type of status effect. The amount of damage produced by this, like, my god, I could viral easily. Or like blast, because this is a blast riven essentially. I did not want to. This is so much better like this. this is so much better. So yeah, if you don't have a riven, just straight up do the cold mode here, frigid blast. So you get that. I'll let the weapon speak for itself, because like, oh my god. This is definitely something that took me by surprise. Okay, it spawns at the defense, but it's fine. We'll do it anyway. We could have had something beautiful, but it's fine. We'll just do it normally. But oh my god, I'm so surprised at how good this thing is. With Debilitate. It was like the arcane was made for it. The innate radiation, which is normally absolutely dog water, is like insane on it. So now that we have the 2 kills, anything you touch, yeah, that's 1.2 million dots on that guy. So anything you touch now with this just melts immediately. Immediately melts. Like, this is without anything. This fire rate. It only has fire, nothing else. That's just the weapon. Can you imagine this with like Siren giving it corrosive? Or Side giving it blast? Or even electricity, I don't know. You can give it electricity with Side. This would still go so hard. Like, what is this? Oh my goodness. Like, what is that? Suddenly, Phantasma got the biggest glow up out of the beam weapons. Like, all of the beam weapons can use this arcane, but the strength of the Phantasma for this arcane is ridiculous. Like, holy shit. It was always a decent weapon. Very overrated in my opinion. Because, you know, I did have a really good riven on it. I have gone to level cap with it. It is good. And if you have an armor ship that is very consistent, then it does really well. But only that. Like, now it just works, you know? Ah shit, I didn't target that. There we go. No, they naded. Okay, well. It's fine. Even without fire, it's absolutely not. I love it. Ah, does that not hit? Alright, well, We'll just do it the old-fashioned way. Just walk at him. Now, I'm really curious if I'm able to actually do the rest of the mission without losing it. I don't want to use the Spectre, but I'll use the rest of my abilities now. Holy shit. Guardian X boost, please. No, I'm gonna lose it. It's dead. No! Well, it is what it is. I tried it. Oh, man. Phantasma bad. I knew it. I knew it. Alright, well. Anyways, it is incredibly strong. I have never imagined to see Phantasma do this one day and so effectively. But goddamn, this is such a glow up. I am really happy for it. I'm really happy for the random glow ups we got this update. We got one for the Phantasma. We got one for Inaros. We got one for a lot of characters and a lot of weapons. Like, damn. But the Inaros Phantasma glow ups are actually kind of ridiculous. This thing is this thing was so surprising to me to see it be this good. And obviously you can get an even better Riven than mine. But I mean, yeah. Also, if you do have a Phantasma Prime, do not worry. You don't need to get a regular Phantasma. I have a regular Phantasma because of the Riven mode. If we see Phantasma and Phantasma Prime, we will see that we have 11, 1.9, 22, and 90. And we have 3, 1.5, 22, and 90. So aside from crit chance, crit damage, and a bit more maximum ammo that we can see here from here, we get 330 instead of 270. These weapons are essentially the exact same, but the normal Phantasma has a higher Riven disposition, which is why I use it. If you have a Phantasma Prime, you don't have a Riven mode, obviously just use that. It's gonna be just as good. Thank you very much for watching another video of mine, and I will see you on the next one.